Sky Strikers in the year 2021. I know Farfa just recently gave this deck a nice little pat on the back by saying it's so bad, but we have some love for this deck today. Make sure you guys smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more interesting deck profiles. So Ernest Oliphant got third place with Striker recently with a going second variant. Now, I do want to say, all things considered with this deck, you're probably going to want to cut Gameciels, and you're probably going to want to play Godarlas, because if a barrier statue starts coming around the corner, you're going to be able to, or you're going to have to drop a Kaiju on top of it so that you can effectively play the game. And unfortunately, having to play such a bad Kaiju like Godarla to counteract parts in the metagame is really disappointing. I mean, the other thing is, you are a going second deck functionally because of Evenly Matched. Your entire toolbox does sometimes revolve around getting a battle phase drop with Hayate, but this just gives you access to your toolbox cards that you're going to need in order to play the game. So this is going second Striker for the format. It's definitely an interesting idea for what it can do. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, generic hand trap. Interesting enough, we are not playing Gammas in Driver. I know a few of the later builds were heading towards Gamma with Driver to kind of counteract some of the already toxic metagame, but it looks like we're not bulking down on that here. We have triple copies of Gameciel, triple copies of Ray, and only 2 copies of Rose. Like I said, I always have said that Rose at 2 is like the perfect number. 3 just feels like too much, and 1 just doesn't feel like enough for what you want to do with Rose. We have triple copies of MST. That's actually quite interesting. I guess you could make the decision to cut these also for Cosmics as the format goes more towards that Eldritch-esque part, but we'll have to wait and see. But this seems fine if you're on budgetary options. We have triple copies of Pot of Desires, best to draw card that you could ever want for this deck, because Prosperity and Extract are just going to mess with your Sky Striker ratios, and you do need that extra deck toolbox in order to play the game. We have 1 copy of Rhoda. You can get access to whichever one of these you're going to need. Alright, then we have 2 copies of the Field Spell. 3 Field Spells kind of lost its way over time. Unfortunately, once again, it's just not as good without being able to, filter for engage. It's just, this gets you toolbox pieces at the sacrifice of, potential resources. That's really about it. 2 copies of Afterburners. I think 2 has become more of the norm at this point in time. We have 1 Jamming Waves to blow off back row, 1 Eagle Booster with the 1 Hornet Drones, 2 copies of Shark Cannon for the interruptions, and triple copies of Widow Anchor. I mean, this right here, I did see, we were trying out, I think it was 3 Shark Cannon earlier in the format, but that was just issues everywhere. So we've long since pushed back to 2 here. We have 1 copy of the multi-roll to reset our entire toolbox, 1 copy of Hercules Base for Recursion. We have 1 Terraforming and 1 Upstart Goblin here. Alright, trap board here. We have triple Evenly Matched and triple Infinite Permanent. So we're on, active 6 hand traps in the main deck, and we have the going second engine of Evenly Matched. That way we can disrupt the opponent and play the game. Check. I'll take it. Alright. Let's see here. Extra deck, we have 1 Win, the Wind Charmer, 1 copy of Zeke, triple copies of Shizuku, 1 copy of Kaina, so still stopping that opponent's attack off of this is so good. Triple copies of Kagari for instant spell recursion, triple copies of Hayate for the dump, and then we have 1 Ningirisu, 1 Boral Sword, and 1 copy of Access Code Talker. Keep in mind that we are also not playing Hulk to go into the whole needle fiber shenanigans, into the Selene to combo up. We're taking that backbone approach here of just sticking to the game plan, and if we happen to access our links, well, we can. Alright, we also have triple copies of Artifact Lancia, triple copies of Nibiru, triple copies of Lightning Storm, 1 copy of Shark Cannon, so this is where our 3rd Shark Cannon is. If we need to have access to it in the side deck, it is here for us if we need it. We have triple copies of Dimensional Barrier and 2 copies of Trap Trick, wrapping up the interesting Sky Striker list. Next up, we have Virtual World for everybody. This is Joshua Jones' second place Virtual World list. I also see that we're pulling a page out of the future here. We have Enter Blafnir as an access point. Also, keep in mind, this deck has just become Muddy Mud Dragon Turbo at this point in time, and while that might be a little bit discouraging to some people, it's what the deck does at this point in time. So I wish I could be like, oh yeah, the deck's just more than a Dragoon deck. Nah, they fell back on this. You also get access to like Gotems and stuff, which is cute, I guess, but hand loop options. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom, Enjoy Spring, triple copies of Nibiru, the Primal Being, triple copies of Gamma, triple copies of Nyan, triple copies of Lily, triple copies of Lulu, one copy of Tutu, with triple copies of Lalau, triple copies of Gigi, and one copy of Driver. Keep in mind that the Nibirus, being a counterpoint to this format, is really good. Alright, we have one Called by the Grave, one E-Tully, triple copies of Pot of Desires, no Prosperities in this build, alright? Which I guess is interesting. I do kind of feel like you're not going to see both Prosperity and Desires every game, but having that option is what you really want it for. We also have one Upstart Goblin, triple copies of Kowloon, triple copies of Quinklong, with two copies of Chuchi, and one copy of Zuao's Wu. Then we have one Fan, one Zeus, one M7, one Gotems, one copy of Shen, one Geo, one Vermilion Dragon Mech, one Tzolk'in, one Stardust Charge. So we're playing the Stardust Charge draw over the Prosperity for this build, I guess. We have one Croc, one Muddy Mud, one Crystal Wing, one copy of Coral Dragon, one Cloud Castle, and one copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. We are not playing the new level or rank 9 for this deck for the additional negate, which is interesting. We have two copies of Lancia, one Pankratops, two Droll Lockbird, one Enter Blafnir, triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, triple copies of Dark Ruler, no more, one Feather Duster, one Raigeki, and one copy of Imperial Order, wrapping up Josh Jones' second place list for everybody here. And last but not least here, from Action Yu-Gi-Oh!, we have Buster Blader, the deck actually. This is really cute. So this is like your cool, beautiful use of Buster Blader. And Red Rain. If you control level 8 or higher single monster, banish all monsters on the field except for monsters with the highest level. Also, the remaining face of monsters on the field are unaffected by other card effects except their own till the end of this turn. If a Dark Synchro monster Synchro summoned to your field while this card is in your grave, you can add this card to your hand. Holy crap, that's really good. Dark Dragon Synchro monsters. Who would have guessed? So we have one Artifact Scythe, one Black Dragon Clap Serpent, two Buster Blader, one Buster Blader the Destruction Swordsman, triple copies of the Buster Whelp, triple copies of Crusadia Arborea, triple copies of Crusadia Draco, one Leonis, two Maximus with two Reclusia, one copy of Dogmatica Adine the Enlightened, what? Two copies of Jester Confit, one Lilith, two copies of Parallel Exceed, two copies of Ran Ryu, one Recover, one Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, two Rocket Recharger, two Rocket Tracer, one Wyvern Buster, and one Wizard Buster. Then we have one Monster Reborn, one Pot of Avarice, triple Quick Launch, two copies of Talents, two copies of World Legacy Guard Dragon with one Succession, two Sanctum, two Destruction Sword Flash, two Memories, triple copies of Prologue, triple copies of Red Rain, and triple copies of Trap Trick. Extra here we have two Saruja, one Almirage, one Protector Whelp, one Pisty with one Elpie, one Hauk, one Spatha, one Magius with one Apollosa, two Buster Dragon, one Boral Sword, and two copies of the Buster Blade of the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. Side deck here we have two Godarla, two Ghost Ogre, triple Nibiru, triple copies of Dark Ruler No More, one Harpy's Feather Duster, two Lightning Storm, and two copies of Infinite Impermanence, wrapping up this cluster toolbox of a deck. Like, this is very interesting. So, and this was from Action Yu-Gi-Oh! Getting first place out of its locals. So guys, of course, smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more excellent content. If you guys top with anything as well, please reach out to me on social media so I can take a look at that and we can possibly make a video and share it with the world. And I hope that your beautiful faces have a good rest of your day, honestly, for what it's worth. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Is evolving into something really awesome. Like, look at these deck lists, man. This is exciting. All right, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace out. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCole40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCole40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcolegames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.